Do not shoot, but listen. Let me lead you safely to our foe.
The story of Halo 3 is one with several truly epic cutscenes. They're technically sound, visually appealing, and filled with superb dialogue. But today I want to talk about a scene that doesn't get the amount of attention that it truly deserves. The reveal of Installation 08. This is arguably the most important scene of the entire story because it transitions the audience to the final act. It manages to carry the emotions we were feeling from before the scene began, redirect them with an important revelation, and then refocus us on what comes next. And it does this through expert use of something called a leitmotif. I am your host Jacob. Join us as we break down the reveal of Installation 08 from Halo 3. Before we begin, it will be important to define what a leitmotif actually is. A leitmotif is a short, recurring musical phrase used in stories to guide feelings. More specifically, to bring out particular feelings in an audience. Just like the smell of pancakes can bring up memories of Sunday brunch with the family, a leitmotif can stir up whatever emotions are associated with it, whether consciously or unconsciously. A leitmotif can be associated with a certain character, setting, or idea. For example, John Williams' March of the Empire became associated with Darth Vader, since it would play many of the times he was on screen. So when a version of it plays in Star Wars Episode 2 after Anakin confesses to killing the Tusken Raiders, it serves to remind us of what this young Jedi will become, and brings out all the associated emotions with that. Leitmotifs are important tools in conveying emotion, and Bungie uses them to great effect in this scene. Let's take a look at it now. The siren noises that are playing at the beginning of the scene are a Halo classic. The first time you hear them is way back in Halo Combat Evolved, just before Chief activates a piece of Forerunner technology for the first time. But if you are a fan of Halo, pressing holographic switches is probably not what you associate this unnerving tone with. From the first game on, these sirens have mostly been played when fighting the Flood in Forerunner structures. That includes the mission that we were playing just before this cutscene began. It is a grating sound that invokes a sense of dread and anxiety. Since it was playing in the mission before the scene started, the leitmotif supports what the player was already going through in their actions, and carries those emotions into this scene.
What do you see?
As the sirens play on, Chief sees a ghostly apparition of Cortana leading him somewhere. Chief has been afflicted with visions of Cortana throughout the first two acts of the game. Up until now, these interludes haven't done anything to support the narrative. They could have been deleted from the game in their entirety, and the audience would have been able to understand the plot just fine. But by Chief having this vision of Cortana, it retroactively gives these interludes meaning. Cortana interrupting us throughout the game now supports the idea that she can guide Chief in this moment. If she could connect with us from interstellar distances through these visions, it makes somewhat logical sense that she can project into Chief's environment, since the ship that was carrying her crashed only a few hundred miles away just before the cutscene began. Or at least, it's enough sense that we can hand-wave the details. In any case, Cortana has been our guide throughout most of the games. She is constantly telling us what we need to do in order to progress the mission and the plot. So it is fitting that she be the one to reveal her solution to the Flood in this scene.
Replacement. The ring you destroyed.
Chief activates the holographic panel and reveals Installation 08. The sirens fade off and are replaced by low strings and a Gregorian chant. The Gregorian chant has been a mainstay of the Halo franchise since its official E3 trailer. It is a key element in the IP's main theme and plays during the main menu of both Combat Evolved and Halo 2. It plays when Chief is looking at Alpha Halo's destruction, when In Amber Clad discovers Delta Halo in the sequel, and again when the Prophet of Truth is showing Delta Halo off to the Arbiter in the same game. You hear this theme and it floods you with all the sense of wonder and nostalgia that you felt when fighting on these massive alien structures. In this way, the chant is a leitmotif for the setting of the Halo rings, but it can also be considered a leitmotif for the Master Chief. As already mentioned, the chant plays after Chief destroys the first Halo ring, after he gives the Covenant their bomb back during the invasion of Earth, and after he destroys the Scarab in Halo 2. The very first time you hear it in-game is also the very first time you see the Master Chief.
Cracking the case in 30 seconds. He's hot! Blowing the pins in 5!
Along with the wonder of the Halo rings, this motif invokes the epic actions of the Master Chief himself.
Replacement. The ring you destroyed.
When did you know?
Just now. But I had my hopes. What will you do?
Light it.
Then we are agreed. A tactical post will completely eradicate the local infestation. I will personally oversee the final preparations, though it will take time to fabricate.
How will you light it?
This is where the game transitions to the final act. Everything up to this point has focused us on defeating the Covenant by killing the Prophet of Truth, even when the Flood is present.
Now the Prophet of Truth is looking for something called the Ark. If he succeeds, humanity, the Covenant, every sentient being in the galaxy.
The rings will kill us all.
Our fight is through the portal. With the brutes and the bastard truth.
Barbara's right. We have priorities too. Until we kill Truth, stop the rings from firing, nothing else matters.
Priority. We must contain this outbreak before.
First, we stop Truth. Then we deal with the Flood.
With so much emphasis on it, one could have thought that killing Truth would have been the end of the game. But this scene now refocuses our efforts and reminds us that the job isn't finished. There is still a final act to this story, and the siren leitmotif, the visions of Cortana, and the Gregorian chant leitmotif have been emotionally transitioning us to the act before it even arrives, connecting us to the untold conclusion of our story. Chief sets up that end by telling Spark he will fire the Halo ring, and when Arbiter asks him how, he just looks at High Charity. Chief has put together the final piece of Cortana's plan, but this little bit of foreshadowing is all that we get. Let me play you the full scene uninterrupted. If you feel like it, watch it once normally, and then watch it again but with your eyes closed, and pay special attention to the effect of the short musical phrases.
What do you see?
just now, but I had my hopes. What will you do?
Light it.
Then we are agreed. A tactical post will completely eradicate the local infestation. I will personally oversee the final preparations, though it will take time to...
How will you light
Thank you for watching the video today. This was a shorter video than normal, but the scene was shorter than the other scenes that we typically look at for movies and video games. But it has such an outsized impact on the story. And it does that with just an expert use of leitmotifs that we wanted to talk about because it's truly impressive. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like and share it with anyone that you think would also enjoy it. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more story analysis and reviews on video games, TV shows, and movies. For Fairly Critical, I've been your host, Jacob. Thank you guys again for taking the time out of your day to watch this, and I will see you in the next one.
Every core of computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Truth! The voice of the Covenant! So, you must be silenced.